In the 1960s, Don Yenko emerged as one of the SCCA's top road racers. But Yenko became famous for what he did away from the racetrack. He took regular Chevy production cars and turned them into bona fide racing machines, selling them at his Pennsylvania car dealership. Not many were made, and a relative few still survive, making Yenkos some of the most sought-after collector cars in the world. Today, 4 partners and their team are taking on a huge challenge. Build a replica of a 1969 Yenko Camaro that uses today's technology but remains faithful to the original. It's a gamble that could breathe new life into a legend. Hello and welcome to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Our 69 Camaro project is not for the faint of heart. The guys here at Brand New Muscle Car have been working hard for weeks, and they still have months to go. But they've made a lot of progress. The car is sitting on wheels and tires, and it has suspension all around. Now it's on to the next phase of the project, constructing the rest of the car piece by piece. Thousands of parts go into every one of these builds, and of course, David is the lucky guy who has to keep track of them all.
Shims, enough shims to do 5 cars.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for fenders. I know it doesn't look like it.
Fenders inside in the box.
Radiator support bolts. There's some bolts.
That one I needed,
yeah.
but you know what I need now? Fenders.
Okay.
I need a fenders.
I haven't opened all of the boxes, obviously.
Do you find the body kit bolts?
No, that's what I'm looking for is the big box of all the body bolts. Parts is a real mess as far as a challenge. I'm the only one that'll do it, so I do it. I'm pretty good at it. I'm not great at it, but the other guys wouldn't even touch it with a 10-foot pole. My challenge as the parts guy is to not only get it right, but to get it in. Parts are getting delivered literally daily, and I've got to get them, figure out what they are, put the receipt with the customer's ticket, run the parts back to whoever, and usually that's a big deal. Hey, I've got parts, here we go. Safety latch?
Yeah.
Right, hood latch, okay. Is that enough to get you started, not keep digging for the fenders?
Yes. Okay, let me go put it over there. Thank you.
So this is the hard part of the build. This is why people don't build whole cars, because parts are a nightmare. Oh, what do we have here? You're a handsome devil, what's your name? Oh, Martin, I might have found your bolts. Oh, yes, master body kit. Well, you need that. That's the first thing you wanted. This is the box. Oh, Martin, I found everything you wanted. We have a winner. Ugh. Okay, fenders.
You know, have to get everything right.
Hood hinges?
Yeah. Just only make sure you got the left and right. Yep.
Please be a fender. Because if you're not a fender, I don't know what you are. Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Oh, Martin! Ask and you shall receive, brother. Check this out. God, Camaros are big fenders.
Yeah. I want to see it's not in damage. Okay. Let's see what I might hit in here.
Whoa, mama, okay. Yep, fender skirts.
So far, so good. So let's.
Okay, wheel wells. Remember, Camaros have wheel wells, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Look at that.
Yeah.
Good sheet metal. I know you only like the good stuff.
Yeah. Do you find the radiator support?
Not yet. I'll keep looking.
What do you think, Tony?
And everything's looking real good.
Well, you want the good news or the bad news? The good news, I found the fenders. The bad news is we don't have a box the right size to be a radiator support. So,
No?
no, but I'll keep looking. I think we might have used it on the 68. Dustin thought he had one. I didn't order one. Dustin didn't find his. He took the one off this
you
car.
used that one, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll look. I'll double check. We might have to order it. Parts are a nightmare.
Aren't you missing something, or did you forget to put that on there? Oh, God. Isn't there like a big major piece that goes right here?
Hey, come on, give me a break. He ordered almost a book and parts, so he makes a little pieces like, come on, give me a credit.
Martin!
Yeah.
Da, da, da. Woo. Yes, sir. Check it out. Huh? Let's go. Good. Yeah?
There's a piece I need.
Wanna do a little mock-up, a little test fit?
Yeah.
Martin and Tony are some of the most demanding body men in the business. Their quest for perfection means hanging the body panels again and again until they get it just right.
So, it's ready for paint.
When we come back, the brand new muscle car crew hones the Camaro body, and the 427 Big Block starts to take shape.
Proformance Unlimited is one of the leaders in the muscle car industry, building engines that will suit the needs of nearly every car enthusiast. Our dedication to detail separates us from the rest, and our crate engines are hand-assembled one at a time, using the finest parts and are dyno tested to ensure durability and power output. Trials and errors and expensive mistakes are now a thing of the past. Proformance Unlimited, your crate engine experts, building your dream and ours one engine at a time.
Classic Industries presents brand new muscle car Yenko Camaro is brought to you by Willwood Disc Brakes, high performance disc brakes and brake components. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day on auto parts and accessories. R3 Performance, quality parts, attention to detail and innovative design. And by Classic Industries, America's first choice in restoration and performance parts and accessories.
Welcome back to Tulsa, where Martin and Tony continue the quest for the perfect fit.
One of the things that we spend a lot of time on is test fitting. So you'll notice as you watch the build, the car goes apart, together, many, many times. And that's really Martin and Tony, especially Martin. He's very picky about how the panels line up, the gaps, the symmetry, everything. For everything to be perfect, it takes a lot of trial and error. So a lot of people think what Martin does is magic. It's not magic, it's a lot of hard work. Yes, he's got some skill, yes, he's got some experience, but he's just got a great eye for detail, and he just does it over and over again until it's perfect.
Huh. Ouch. What I'm thinking is I start to move the chassis to see if it's square.
Martin will just look at a car and say, oh, well, you know, it's twisted here, or bent there, or crooked there, or, you know, I've gone to look at cars when they drive in, and Martin just look at it and say, yeah, that frame's bent.
I can use those for this point and make sure there's in distance. If not, I start moving the chassis. And then let me ask him, David, this car, he got like a dimensions, and I can use the rule and make him see.
So Martin and Tony have had a chance to look at the body, and they've done a rough fit, a little mock-up of the fenders and some other items. The bodies are good. This is about the 4th generation of these bodies. We get these bodies from R3. They're much better than the previous versions, but they're not perfect, so there's work to do. For instance, when you notice on these fenders, the holes are oblong. They're not perfectly round. That gives you a little bit of room to adjust. They don't have to line up exactly right. But the other thing that's nice is on this modern suspension from Chassis Works, everything is adjustable. Up, down, in, out, front, right. Everything loosens up, moves, and can be retightened. So that also helps us adjust. And then Martin will work his magic on the back to work with door gaps, quarters, trunk lid. There's a lot of work that has to be done because we want this thing to have perfect gaps like a brand new car, which back in the day, they did not have perfect gaps.
I like it to use 3/16 gaps. I think it looks good. It not look so bad, so it is right there. To the quarter to make these gaps, this shim's helping us. Look, put in several in here to put in high, and the back to push forward. And the bottom, right there, it is to make the fender does not go up. I got a good gap in the bottom, all the way across.
Sometimes your entire day can go to waste over a single part. In this case, this bolt wasn't quite long enough for Martin. He needed a little more length so he could put in some shims, move the fender around, adjust. So we ended up with this bolt. But it took me several hours to find the right bolt and allow Martin to be able to adjust the sheet metal and get it just the way he wanted it.
While the bodywork continues in Oklahoma, some 1,200 miles away, a small engine shop is working on giving the Yenko big power.
The engine for this car is going to be built by Proformance Unlimited. They're our custom crate engine builder in Melbourne, Florida. 2 great guys run that company, Steve and Doug. They're fantastic. They build a great motor. They've been doing it for decades. The service is off the charts, and the motors are made with the very best parts. They're affordable. They dyno them. They last. They warranty them. We just can't say enough about these guys.
Welcome to Proformance Unlimited. I'm Doug. What we do here is we build custom engines for people. I have a couple of shops that do machine work for me. I also can do my own, but you know, when you're on a time schedule, sometimes speed is a must. So we try to get some of these blocks pre-done for us, and I have some great companies do them. This happens to be one of our customers' engines here. This happens to be a small block Windsor. This is a stroker engine. It's a 427, and it just got done dynoing, making about 600 and something horsepower. We're a small shop that personalizes our builds, and we're big enough to do any job that people want. We do a little bit of everything. You want it, we can build it. 56 Ford, 400 Pontiac, 408 stroker. And being in Florida, we do airboat motors. This happens to be 850 horsepower that we're going to refreshen it up for the gentleman. Here we are in our dyno room. This is where we test and tune all engines. We verify all horsepower and torque numbers for the customer. It'll also tell us there's no water leaks, no oil leaks, and that the motor is running phenomenal. So they'll have years of enjoyment. What we do basically for all our engines is we use quality parts. You want a motor to last, you got to know the proper combinations. You don't want to put too much compression in a street engine because today's fuel is not like it used to be coming out of there. You can't buy good octane. Even though they say it's 93, it ain't 93 anymore. It's more like a good 90. So basically, you got to build a motor on low compression, have the proper cam, proper heads on here, good bearings, and the motor's going to last with a good oil change.
Up next, a close-up look at the first ever Yenko Camaro, and the world's newest Yenko is sculpted into shape.
Proformance Unlimited is one of the leaders in the muscle car industry, building engines that will suit the needs of nearly every car enthusiast. Our dedication to detail separates us from the rest, and our crate engines are hand-assembled one at a time, using the finest parts and are dyno tested to ensure durability and power output. Trials and errors and expensive mistakes are now a thing of the past. Proformance Unlimited, your crate engine experts, building your dream and ours one engine at a time.
Photos and documents shown on brand new muscle car Yenko Camaro, courtesy of Mark Gillespie. For even more about Don Yenko and the supercars that made his dealership famous, look online for the Yenko era and the Yenko era continued, Cannonsburg and beyond.
You know, the engine is the heart of every muscle car. In fact, it's what makes a muscle car a muscle car. And when it came time to order up power for this Yenko Camaro, the guys at Brand New Muscle Car called up their friends at Proformance Unlimited on the east coast of Florida.
This is our all-aluminum 427 build for David Miller of Brand New Muscle Cars. This is going to go into the #1 car of the Yenko Camaro builds. We started out with a GM aluminum block. This is a standard 4250 bore. It's got a stroke of 3.766. We got a brand new steel crank in it, a nice steel I-beam rod, and a nice forged piston. We're making somewhere around 10.0 compression in the engine, and we're looking to get this on a dyno and make about 550 horsepower. Should be very achievable with the cam we've chosen. This has got a nice hydraulic roller cam in it. We got the GM aluminum heads on here. Got all brand new stainless steel valves. We got some double valve springs on here. We got some Manley push rods, some stainless steel full fulcrum roller rockers. Should be a real nice, unbeatable engine. I'll tell you, this thing should run quite well when it's in the car.
Meanwhile, back in Tulsa, Martin continues to ply his craft as the head body man, and his attention to detail shows why he's also Brand New Muscle Car's chief of quality control.
Another thing, that.
We hire people that have been doing it for 10, 15 years and are amazed by what they see Martin do.
Martin's one of the best body men I've ever seen. His attention to detail is just unheard of.
I mean, even on a collision job, I've watched him open and shut a hood 10 times to make sure his gaps are right, to make sure when it sits down, it's sitting in the right spot. And what's funny is I used to look back at that and think, wow, man, he's so good at like collision work. And then we got to doing this stuff. And then that level went 10 times over, what I call anal particulate. There is nothing good enough. I mean, you can build a car and you can get your gaps as close to perfect, but he's gonna do it just a little bit better than you do. There is one thing that I will say about the cars that we build. When you get it, it will be right. There's no doubt about that. Everything will shut correctly, the mechanism's working correctly. I mean, a lot of these times he can make a '68 Camaro shut with one finger.
Man, it looks real good. It looks way better. But what are we gonna do with those little dents that we just put on?
There's only straight to fix it now. There's only grinder. Start grinding, clean it up, and see.
Working with the Bondo?
And run it with the Bondo, yes.
One of the things Martin is very, very good at is Bondo, or as we like to say, making Bondo. In the business, it's called body work. So it's panel alignment, it's metal work, it's body, it's sanding, it's priming, it's sanding. But the big thing is to get the body straight. Make everything line up, make everything smooth, and that way when you put the paint over it, it looks like a brand new car. And that can be hard to do on these old bodies, but Martin is the very best at it. He's very, very picky, and we love him for it. Bondo is body filler. It's liquid plastic, literally. They spread it on, they add a hardener, they let it dry, they can sand it down, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It fills spots in the body.
And the whole union parts, I like to put a little bit of fiberglass. It is a little bit more stronger. And then I can final with Bondo.
More durable than Bondo?
The Bondo, yeah.
So back in the days when they didn't really use fiberglass, they would use lead?
Yeah. My grandfather worked with that one, and I still a little bit learned. So let me say, it is very hard. We work with lead, but if you see the old cars, especially in 60s, 50s, you see all lead. But today, my grandfather said, I want to see the guy who invented the Bondo because I want to get a hug and a kiss because it give me more easy to do my job.
If you're looking for muscle car heaven, look no further than the American Muscle Car Museum in Melbourne, Florida. It's home to the largest collection of Yenko supercars, including Don Yenko's first ever Camaro, the template for all other Yenko conversions to come. And it's the subject of this week's Yenko Collector Spotlight.
Here we have a 1967 Camaro. This was the first Camaro delivered to the Don Yenko dealership in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania. This is number one. This is his test mule. This has a 427, 450 horse on it. This is Granada Gold. As we come around here, we have the 4-speed. Some of the modifications become kind of a standard where you have the gauges under the dash, you have the tack on it, and as he went through the years, he would order them with the 427 and he would order them with the suspension package to save having to do that changeover. This particular car, Don ordered with a 12-volt positive traction, 373 gear ratio. This is a mono-leaf suspension on this particular car. The later ones come with a multi-leaf suspension. As you can see, this was the beginning of the Yenko badging you would see on the car. We have one right here in the grille. You would have a Yenko badge on the front fender on either side, and you would usually have one on the tail panel. This is also the beginning of where Don Yenko started with his own fiberglass hood, very similar to what you would see on the 67 Corvettes. As the years went on in 68, he developed a different style hood.
Don't go anywhere. The body guys are restless and hijinks are afoot.
Don't try this at home.
Proformance Unlimited is one of the leaders in the muscle car industry, building engines that will suit the needs of nearly every car enthusiast. Our dedication to detail separates us from the rest, and our crate engines are hand-assembled one at a time, using the finest parts and are dyno tested to ensure durability and power output. Trials and errors and expensive mistakes are now a thing of the past. Proformance Unlimited, your crate engine experts, building your dream and ours one engine at a time.
Classic Industries presents brand new muscle car Yenko Camaro is brought to you by Champion Cooling Systems, high performance aluminum radiators, Heat Shield Products, America's high performance insulation, C-Max, the one product for your engine, transmission, and fuel system, and by Brand New Muscle Car, building yesterday's dream cars today.
Now that the body panels are hung and shimmed, Martin and Tony start to smooth out even the smallest of imperfections.
Bondo make miracles too.
Oh, it does. Whoever knows how to use it right.
Yeah.
Tony has worked for years alongside Martin, learning from the very best. Martin comes from a long line of body men, and he's passing that knowledge from his father and grandfather to Tony, who's not only Martin's protege, but also his son-in-law.
I'll put him a little bit Bondo, a metal filler. Me and Tony in the back and just do the body work. He knows what I'm thinking, and I don't need to say anything because he knows what I need.
Tony is Martin's son-in-law. Tony is Martin's apprentice, although it's been 4 or 5 years now, so Tony's really on his own. But they still work as a really great team. They're family, they get along.
Tony started working for us about 4 months after we actually opened, and Martin's taught Tony the way that he does things, and So Tony is like having a mirror image of Martin, and I'm telling you, you can't have too many Martins.
Hey, you see something? The painter is so quiet. It is dead.
Yeah, when it's quiet, it's bad.
Yeah. I think he's just looking for giving us a hard time right now.
Oh yeah, they're planning something.
You know what? I need to prepare a bomb.
Don't try this at home or anywhere. Ready.
Maybe you help me. Okay. So, it's try to explain me, Tony, in a moment when what is the time to prime it, right? He needs to wants to know how you explain it, what you need to do. I think you need to do like this, right?
I think I need to be right back. Martin's one of those guys, he takes his job very serious. He does like to goof off, guarantee that. If you're ever in the paint booth and all of a sudden the lights turn off, guaranteed Martin's behind you.
10.
Wow.
Back in Florida, it's time to put this car's engine to the test. The original '69 Yenko Camaro put out 450 horsepower, but that was a half century ago, and technology has improved by leaps and bounds. Looks like the engine performed well on the dyno, so with a quick check of the computer, the guys find out if their hard work has paid off.
Yeah, 590 and oh, that's pretty cool. 590, basically 590, 590. Man, here we have it. We got the 427 Yenko build here. I'll tell you, thing came out great. This happens to be a 427 all aluminum Chevy big block. It's got a Sniper Holly system on here. It's got the beautiful serpentine kit by Concept One. Got the MSD distributor, it's been custom painted orange. Just got them making 590 horsepower. Tell me that ain't kick-ass in any car. I hope they enjoy it. I know they will. I can't wait to test drive the car.
Next time on Brand New Muscle Car, Martin and Tony use old school techniques to keep the cars look authentic. And we take a close-up look at the bodies that are the foundation of today's coolest classic resto mods.
I want to see these guys. Oh.
Yeah, you better drop that. That was my mind.
No, I say painters.
Oh. Look at that.
Yeah, you look like a mechanic. Like,
I need a clip like that.
let me see. You don't need
What'd
it.
you?
It's not good.
Give me my clip.
It is broke.